Good day, folks. Welcome back to another time video. We're on to video number 3 of our Flyguys Favorite Fall Fly Fishing Patterns. The last one we did was a Gamma shrimp, so you may have been expecting a tiny little Hyalella pattern. However, when the fish are on the little Hyalellas, we like to fish a leech rather than try to imitate the small little shrimp. Just seems to be more productive for us. So we've got a neat little leech pattern for you. This one is the W.M.D, and that's Weapons of Mass Destruction, and this is in the blended blood color. We call it that because it's tied using a dubbing brush, and I'll just show you one of those brushes here. So we make these up, and the reason we call it the Weapon of Mass Destruction is simply because when you tie them with these dubbing brushes, they will last you forever. Literally, there'll be tons and tons of fish you can catch on these, and they're not going to come apart or get destroyed. So pretty durable, and you can really play with the colors. So this one I use Claret Ice Dub, Claret Seals Fur Dub, and just a touch of Pearl Ice Dub. So equal parts Seal Fur and Claret Ice Dub, and then just a touch of the Pearl for just kind of a highlight color. So I've got a size 10 curved nymph hook in the vise, and I've got a copper cone on there as well. So thread color is not super important here. I am using a maroon thread, but again, you're not really going to see it, so it doesn't matter too much. So I'm just going to make my tail, I just take 2 clumps of the, or a clump of the claret, a clump of the, or the ice dub, and a clump of the seal's fur, sorry, and add in just a touch of that pearl ice dub, and just kind of mix it together in my fingers like this, and kind of stack the fibers on top of each other so that I can prep it to tie in for my tail. And so once I get her done here, I'll go ahead and tie that in. So you kind of want it looking something like that. So now I'll just come in at the back, grab a hold of that, and don't worry too much if your tail is long. I'm just bringing this up quite a ways because I don't want it to be too long out the back. So the further you bring it up the shank, the shorter it's going to be when you wrap back on it. So I'm just going to throw a couple wraps underneath, and your tail's tied in, and you can just pinch it to length, but that looks pretty good there. We'll brush out this dubbing brush here once we're done, and it'll all blend together. So now I'll grab my brush, and these brushes are pretty good. I usually get 3 or 4 leeches to a brush, so they do work fairly well. Again, all I do is just grab the tip of it right where the wire is and just lash that in nice and tight with some good tight wraps. Bring my thread forward up to the cone and basically wrap it kind of like a chenille. So as I'm with each wrap, I'm just doing side by side, I just pull the fibers back. Like so. Just wrap it right up to the cone, and then try to jam. Once you think you're tight enough, just throw one more turn in there, and that'll kind of jam up against that cone. And then I'm just going to put a couple tight wraps in here to secure that brush. And then I come in and I try to get down as far as I can to that bead. Try not to use good scissors for that step, just because you're cutting through that wire, so it can dull your good scissors. But now I'll grab a whip finisher, and if you pull it nice and snug, your knot will tuck right in underneath the cone, and so you can put some glue on it if you want, but that's not coming undone. Now I'm just going to take a dubbing brush. I just got some Velcro on a popsicle stick here, and just kind of brush this out. Any of those trap fibers that were in there will come out, and I can brush this all back just like so. And then now this is a synthetic material, so what you can do is, I don't often do it, but I will just in case you'd like to. So I've got a glass of hot water beside me here, and I'm just going to take this and just dip it in that hot water. And because it's a synthetic material, when you put it in the hot water, it will lose some of its memory, and you can kind of style your bleach that way. You get a better idea of what this thing looks like in the water too. So everything kind of slicks back, and you'll start to see what it looks like. So that looks pretty good there. Tuck that back in the vise for you, and there it is. So that's about all there is to it. Like I say, it's a super simple little pattern. You can see the kind of pearl ice dub highlights in there and how that blends together. The seal's fur is kind of a nice touch because it's a softer dubbing, so it gives you a little bit more movement in the water. But that is the blended blood W.M.D. and I know that sucker will catch you some fish, but feel free to play with your dubbing brushes. You can get them in all kinds. You can create any color combo you want. Play with different dubbings, play with different colors, see what the fish think. And if you're interested in any of these ones or some of the other ones that we have, you can email us, bcflyguys@gmail.com, and we can supply them for you. Like I say, you get about 3 or 4 leeches to a brush. So that's all there is to the W.M.D. Hope you enjoyed that. I know this thing will fish well for you. Thanks very much for watching. Give us a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't. And until the next one, cheers and tight lines.